As I made the shifts, of course, it was difficult for some people to follow where I was going, which was also very tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not just talking about like fans. I'm
Yeah.
talking about like friends, and people I've worked with. As you make that shift, your vision just doesn't align anymore as what
Yeah.
it used to be. So, yeah, a lot of heartbreak there.
James Reid is the James of Instagram. Like
That's true, James Franco.
Yeah.
I'm the real James.
exactly.
Yeah,
He
think
is
about it.
the James. Everyone, welcome to the podcast. Today we are here with James Reid. Woo! Da-na-na-na. Wow, sound effects. How are you, James? Thanks for joining us.
I'm good. I'm good. Thanks for having me. Yeah.
We're so excited that you're here.
Yeah. Me too. Me too.
How excited are you, Nico?
I'm very, very excited.
Yeah. Actually, I didn't know that Nico was gonna be here today.
Yeah.
Because I've been seeing him recently.
Yeah.
And I was kind of shocked that he was gonna be here.
He was
Yeah.
like,
I was like, yeah.
what are you doing here? I'm like, I'm interviewing you today. He's like, I didn't know.
had
No,
no
he's
idea.
just hanging out,
Yeah, I'm just
meandering.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
It's our podcast.
Yeah. So yeah, we're just here to hang out. Obviously, talk about life and just everything. And I know you've been very busy. You've been everywhere.
Yeah.
Like I'm surprised you're even here right now. Like
Yeah.
you're everywhere. So how's that been for you? Like everything.
It's been really hectic. Running around promoting my new single, Help Me Too, which is
Yeah.
out now.
Yes.
All streaming platforms and the music videos on YouTube, so go check it out. I've been promoting the new single. I've been working on a new EP. Hurt Me Too is the first single of that EP, and Nico knows about this EP,
Yes.
and
I know one thing about that.
Hey.
yeah, and it's currently I'm in full studio mode right now, but at the same time I've been all around the place. Performed at the music festival in Kamsur, Kogma Festival, which was
Yeah.
crazy. It was like 100,000 people.
Whoa.
Wild. And I've been flying a lot. I just came back from Bangkok. When was that? Like 4 or 5 days ago? Maybe 6 days ago. And I'm flying out tomorrow to Milan and Paris
Okay.
for Fashion
Whoa.
Week.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
so crazy.
Yeah,
Like
I was there early this year in January for the fall winter
yeah.
men's fashion week, and then I'm going back again for summer tomorrow.
That is so crazy. So what is it like being there? Like as someone who's never been. I
Yeah.
mean, only like a couple of people in the world
It's
know
so
what it's
funny
like.
that this is the last thing he's gonna be doing before he goes to
I
fashion
know.
week. It's
Thank you so
lame.
much
Yeah.
for
No, not at all.
Don't say that. Don't say that. Be flattered. Be flattered, bro. But yeah, only a couple of people in the world get to
Yeah.
experience something like that, right?
Yeah,
So
I guess so. It's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it's like it doesn't feel like work at all. I'm invited to go to a few of the events. Some notable ones I went to earlier this year was Armani. I went to that was in Milan, and then I went to the Louis Vuitton show.
that's so crazy.
Yeah, I got to meet Pharrell.
What does one even say to Pharrell?
Nothing. It was horrible.
Why?
How do you say hi to Pharrell?
Yeah.
Nothing. I'm pretty sure I stumped. I don't even remember. It happened like
Oh my god.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think what I said didn't even make sense at the time, but he was just really cool. He was like, "Hey, nice to meet you, man."
Oh.
And I was just trying not to freak out.
Happy.
And I also met super randomly after I went to the Fendi show, James Franco. Which blew my mind. Yeah. I have this friend of mine, Winston Duke. He's in
Black Panther.
Black Panther. Yeah. And then he introduced me to James Franco. He's like, "You know James?" And I was like, "Yeah, I know James Franco." And it was cool. We were able to catch up afterwards and grab some drinks and stuff. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, and
That's wild.
yeah, it's kind of wild.
How does that feel? I mean, being like one of the biggest stars in the Philippines,
Yeah.
going into a place where you're not like the biggest star. Does it feel like a simulation for you? Is it like
Like an
you're a
out of
celebrity, I'm a
body
celebrity?
experience.
No, I don't think I ever experienced that because I grew up in Sydney,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
there
okay.
I'm just like anyone
Normal
else.
dude.
For me, this is weird. For me, this being in a country where everyone knows my name,
Yeah.
that for me is the weird part. So me going overseas where everyone treats me like a normal person, that feels more normal to me actually.
Which is crazy, right? Because the Philippines is quite literally small, like
Yeah.
compared to the rest of the world. And yeah, actually, I can imagine like
Yeah.
in like seeing people who are, like the likes of James Franco, like everybody around the world knows him, and
Yeah.
it's like.
It was trippy.
But James Reid is the James of Instagram. Like
That's
that's
true,
true.
James Franco.
Yeah.
I'm the real James.
exactly.
Yeah,
He
think
is
about it.
the James. I always thought that was so cool. Like you are the James of Instagram. Like that's
Yeah,
wild.
many people have tried to message me to see what my price is to sell the tag at James. Like a lot of people have messaged me.
I do that to Nico.
I do that
I do that to Nico.
Really? You
I've been
message
messaging
people?
Nico for like 3 years now. Like,
Yeah.
can I pay you to like get my username? He's not responding.
Dude, I've done that too because I'm a Sam with 2 M's,
Okay.
and it's not rare. It's rare to know a Sam with 2 M's.
With 2 M's, yeah.
But the at Sam, the one with 2 M's, is like a worldwide like DJ or something.
Oh.
So he's never gonna give it,
never
up.
give it up.
and I'm just like kind of depressed.
Mine's like a guy from Batangas.
Oh,
that
shout out
works
to
in
Nico.
Thailand. Like I know his whole life. Because I've been
stalking
every
him.
once in a while.
That's
Like,
so
is he still
funny.
active?
That's so funny.
How did you get like did you buy the name out of
No, my management before they were able to
Oh
get
my
it for me. They
God.
said, "Would you like the tag at James?" I said, "I mean, if you can get it,"
Mm-hmm.
and then they did. Apparently, I mean, for those who are looking to try and get the tag that they want, if the account has been inactive for like years, then I think you can apply for it, and then Instagram will take a look into it. Okay, it's been inactive for like 7 years, and then they'll give it to you.
Oh my gosh.
Lucky you?
Yeah,
So,
okay. But he's
try.
the James.
But I don't
of
think I would
Instagram.
sell it ever.
Yeah, no, don't ever. Because imagine
Maybe
any.
to like, I don't
$1
know,
billion.
No.
like LeBron James, maybe. I don't know.
Oh my god.
He deserved it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he deserves it.
That's true.
Of course, I would ask for.
If the price is
the
right.
fee, if the price is right. Yeah.
No, but that's so cool. I mean, that's crazy. I just remember that randomly because you're talking about James Franco and same name. But anyway,
Yeah.
and yeah, like speaking of the things you've experienced so far, like you mentioned a while ago, you played in front of 100,000 people
Yeah.
in Bicol. I'm really curious actually if you're somebody who still gets like, like
Nervous?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, really?
I don't know how many times I've performed. Like
Mm-hmm.
definitely around like 100 to 150, maybe even more. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But I still feel like throwing up before I go on stage, and I can't eat anything
Mm-hmm.
like 4 hours before. So I'm always performing like hungry.
Yeah.
It gives me more adrenaline. But then it's
Just like
only
us.
actually for me it's just the waiting part.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's the hardest part. Once I'm on stage, that thing it just goes away.
Seeing
So
everyone
true.
play before you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
seeing everyone play
anticipation.
before. The anticipation is
Yeah.
worse than the actual performance.
Yeah.
But yeah, I still do. I need to throw up, and I can't eat. I can't talk to anyone. I have to get in the zone. Yeah.
That's actually funny because I feel like we can all relate to that. Even with me hosting, like
Yeah.
everybody asks me with the amount of events I've hosted
Yeah.
before, do you still get nervous? I'm like, it never goes away.
It never goes away. I think it's not supposed to.
Yeah.
Especially if it's something that you really like or you really
Care
care about it
Yeah.
and it means a lot to you. You're supposed to get nervous. If you're not, then
Because you want to do well.
yeah, you want to do well. So
Yeah.
if you're not getting nervous, then maybe it's not, it's not the thing for you. You know.
Yeah, that's actually true. I feel like
You're not putting the right
Yeah, you're not being
intent to what
pushed.
you're doing.
You're not being
Yeah.
challenged. Yeah.
if you're not scared to mess up, then that
Exactly.
means that's bad.
Yeah.
And it's
getting
also
complacent.
fun to mess up sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it
Depends.
gives you space.
I've had some pretty bad mess ups.
Oh, like what? Like what's one that you were like you couldn't stop thinking about?
I'm scared to bring it up because then
Please
I
do.
know
People
you're
will
gonna
watch
wanna,
it.
I know that you're gonna want to watch it. This is not like Joe Rogan where you have a
It is
TV
from-
and
No,
you bring
don't
stuff
worry.
up.
Don't worry.
We can do that.
Yeah.
Damn.
Okay, while we're here,
Yeah.
I think I'll tell you mine if
Okay.
you guys also tell me yours.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first? Because
You
I
go
don't,
first.
I don't think
The
you'll beat
host.
mine.
Oh, there's a lot.
Sige, I have one.
Okay, yeah,
what,
go.
what do you
So
have?
when my band was starting, before we were called Nameless Kids, we did the show in Batangas.
Okay.
The monitors were awful. So that was like around the same time that I was only starting to perform live. Tapos we couldn't hear anything.
Yeah.
Then we were playing, diba? So we couldn't hear anything. We were playing the song correctly. Like everything was the right chords, but we were a step up with the vocals. Like we were singing in a different key.
In different key.
But both were right. Like we were singing correctly in a different key. We were playing correctly in a different key. So we saw the videos after.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
But it's funny.
Did the crowd have like a weird face? Like,
I feel like there are crowds kasi that don't really notice those things.
Yeah.
And we were lucky to have that experience in a crowd that's like that.
Damn.
So funny.
That's the worst for us.
Oh.
Yeah. Mine still beats that though.
For sure.
Okay, I'll go and then you can.
Okay, go
let's
ahead.
see if yours. So mine was something that wasn't in my control, but kind of was in my control. So this was during the pandemic. And during the pandemic, I did a lot of online interviews. And one of the biggest online interviews I did was with Coldplay. Like, that never happens. Like, when does that
Awesome.
ever happen? Like, with Chris Martin and I think it was Guy. So there's two of them.
Wow.
And I was so nervous, obviously, because obviously it's Coldplay. But I have a dog. And I have a Maltese.
Okay.
So Maltese, like, they're very known to bark often. But I've been very lucky that my dog never really...
I already know where this is going.
Never really barks. Like, because I do a lot of interviews, especially at that time. And he never really barks. So I was like, okay, I'll just put him in my room. You know, he's going to chill while I do this Coldplay interview.
With Chris Martin.
Yeah, with Chris Martin. No big deal, right? No,
No
big
big
deal.
deal.
Yeah.
And then literally the whole time he was barking. And this is like an opportunity that will not repeat itself. You know, like you cannot, there's no take two in this
You were at the
interview.
condo,
I
so
was,
you
yeah,
couldn't,
because I
like,
live alone
get
and
rid-
I couldn't move, like I couldn't do anything. And then I literally had to tell them, like, my dog is so excited that I'm talking to you. That's why he's barking. And then they were just like, it's fine. I'm like, no, it's not fine. My dog is barking and called, like, it's Chris Martin. Like,
Gonna change your relationship with your dog
and
forever.
I'm just like, you're so embarrassing.
How did they react?
I mean, obviously they can't say anything, but you know, it's just one of those things that you keep just
Were they
thinking
visually
about.
bothered by what was
Maybe I tried my best to mute myself. You know, when they're talking.
Just mute it.
Yeah, just mute. It's like you guys can watch it online actually if you want to. It's like barking, and then when they talk,
will.
mute.
We will.
Yeah, so that's one of the things like I was so embarrassed about. But I mean, I couldn't control it really, but
Okay,
I kind
well,
of could have.
Mine, still worse than that.
Okay, whoa.
Have you guys heard of the Cosmo Bash?
I
Yes.
feel like I know this.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
you probably know this.
Yes.
Yeah, it went viral.
Oh, I think I know this too. But for the
love
sake
this
of
bit.
those who don't know, let's just talk about it.
I had to walk during the Cosmo Bachelor Bash thing. Basically, it's a bunch of dudes walking topless and
Yeah.
strutting their stuff, trying to look hot and whatever. So during the rehearsal, my thing was that I was going to sing, sing while walking, shirtless. And I went out on the stage and I did just a sound check. And then the stage is shaped like a T.
Okay.
So at the end where the audience is, there's like a T. And then there's like a box that's cut out in that T. And I looked at it, I was like, oh cool, there's gonna be a mosh pit later. So I went backstage, got dressed, got everything, or undressed. And
Undressed.
yeah, I got ready and everything. Right before I went on stage, my stylist was like, here, put these shades on and then you can, you know, people throw stuff into the audience. So I put these really dark tinted shades on and then I went out and I started singing Take You Down by Chris Brown.
Wow.
Wow.
And I get to that part of the stage, the T part, and then I turn around.
You're walking backwards.
I start walking backwards and I'm singing, take it down, I really won't take it. And then I fall backwards into this hole.
Oh my
and it's
God.
like, the hole is like taller than me, you know, in my height.
Yeah.
And I fell backwards and my back hit the floor. And it was so painful. Wait, I gotta get close to the mic. It was so painful. I was kind of shocked for a second, just lying there. And then for me, it felt like I was down there for like a minute.
Yeah.
But in reality, I watched the
Instead of
video. It was within
immediately.
like 5 seconds, but then it felt like time had stopped, and I was like, "Oh my god, what do I do?" That was so embarrassing. And I heard the audience go,
Yeah.
and I was just lying there and I was like, should I get up or should I just lie here and wait for someone to come and save me? Anyway, I chose to just get back up. I climbed out of the hole and then I continued
Go, James.
the
Reid.
performance.
We were talking about this just the other night.
What?
Why?
What?
What
Here's
triggered
the
this
context.
conversation?
Here's the context. So we did the show in Iloilo just a few days ago.
Okay.
So, Maki, right before he got on stage, kasi they do an intro for the set. Because he runs up the stage. Right as he hits the first step of the stairs, he face plants into the stairs.
Oh my
At
goodness.
the top of the stairs, like about onto the stage.
The first step, then he goes
Oh,
like
the
that.
first
Yeah.
step.
Oh.
Face
Oh
plants
my
to the
god,
stairs.
that's so
Damn.
sad.
We were talking to him.
That hurts too.
So we were talking about like the famous mishaps on stage. So it's
Oh, right.
yours.
So,
JK
yeah.
also
Should be proud.
slipped
Yeah,
in
tell
one of
him
his
it's not
shows.
so bad. It's not as bad as James Reid. Yeah.
No, it's cute.
Yeah, now it's funny. Like
It's funny.
I can't. No, well, no, not for him.
But
But,
I bet it hurt.
yeah.
Oh, it did. I couldn't walk afterwards. With all the adrenaline,
Oh my god.
I was like so pumped, and I
Yeah.
just jumped back on stage. I just kept performing, and then when I got backstage and I sat down for a second, and the adrenaline went away,
Yeah.
my knee, which
Yeah,
had hit
yeah.
something, like
Oh,
like got
no.
really swollen. I couldn't
It is
walk
very
anymore.
iconic though.
yeah.
I think if I had not stood up, that would have scarred me forever.
Forever.
I don't think I would have been able to perform
Yeah.
on stage ever again. So it was a good thing I got up,
Yeah.
because that could have been like
Yeah.
a huge trauma in my life.
Yeah.
It's the same with like when you like experience a spill on the bike, you have to get up and ride again.
Yeah, you have to get
'Cause
right
you're
again.
never gonna ride.
Otherwise, yeah, you're like,
And-
nope,
Yeah.
I'm never touching a bike again.
What a beautiful thing, even
Yeah, it's part
for
of it. It's
life.
part of it.
You know,
Yeah.
if you don't get back up,
Then people would just laugh at you.
yeah, and then you will regret many things
Yeah,
in
you'll
life.
get many
Yeah,
things
it's
if you
part of
don't
it.
keep trying.
Yeah, that's so funny hearing from you because obviously we've seen what it's like audience perspective. I mean, not to
Yeah.
make you feel bad, but that's really what it is. And hearing
Yeah.
it from you firsthand, now it's
No, I can look back and
yeah,
laugh at it.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
love that.
for
We
sure.
love that. Yeah,
Like
I mean,
been, like,
and isn't
how
just
many
that
years ago?
just life? You know, there's certain things you've done in the past that you're just like, we're
And it's
gonna
not
move
so-
on.
It's honestly not embarrassing because it's not something that you wanted to do. It's not
Yeah.
something that you did. It happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
It's
just
an accident.
the fans had such a fun time with that whole accident
Mm.
because I had just released a movie called Talk Back and You're Dead.
My
Mhm.
favorite.
Yes.
And then there were new headlines
Classic.
saying Walk Back and You're Dead. And I was
we
dying.
love Pinoy
Yes.
Yeah.
humor.
Walk back.
Wow.
Walk Back and You're Dead.
Wow. So profound.
Yes.
Walk back and you're dead. No, but that's so funny looking back at all of these things because you've experienced so many things in your career, and like
Yeah.
now you're just, you know, you're also maturing in the things that you do, like your music and stuff like that. But do you ever look back at your old music and you're just kind of like, I mean, because I watch my, like, for example, when I hosted for the first time, I'm just like, you know what I mean? Like,
Mm.
it's normal to cringe at yourself.
Yeah.
So does that you ever feel that way when you look back at like maybe your music or things you've done before?
All the time, like music I've done, like shows that I've done, like movies that I've done, but it's fun, like
Yeah.
looking back on it, because then you see how far you've come,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and you know, like a lot of people loved all those things that I
Yeah.
did, and
We love them.
thank you.
We actually do.
Yeah.
Read alert. anyway. anyway.
But
Go.
I for example, I just like the album I did, Palm Dreams,
Yeah.
such a long time ago, and are we allowed to say any swear words on this?
Of course.
Oh, okay. If you
Anything.
listen to the lyrics, like, I was such a fuckboy. if you
Yeah,
listen to
yeah.
those lyrics, I was like, wow. And it was funny because I was with my artist, Julianne.
Mhm.
We just had a meeting, and then we were in the car and just like, please play Turning Up. Please play Palm Dreams. I want to listen to it. And I was like, oh, God, don't bring me back there. And then we listened to it, and it honestly wasn't as cringe as I thought it, as I
Yeah.
remember it in my head.
It's not.
Like when I
it's
go
so
back and
good.
watch like those scenes from movies I did and
Mhm.
things like that, and like old songs, it's worse in my head than it actually was.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's fun. It was fun actually, you know, going back and listening to those old tracks. And I actually missed it.
Yeah.
I remember
I
when,
love Palm
when the
Dreams.
album came out.
Yeah.
It was like peak puberty for me. It was an
So
anthem.
young.
The whole album was an anthem for me.
Yeah. No, I was
I
gonna
was
say.
not a fuckboy though.
No, but I was gonna say though, because when Palm Dreams came out, that was like what 2000.
That was 2017.
17.
I think the fuckboyness was like a thing at that time.
Uh-huh.
Like
It really
was
was,
a
like,
huge thing.
Drake had released like Take Care and everything
Yeah.
like that. So it was just like kind of the right time.
Yeah.
And there was no one else doing that here.
And it was like your first big shift from what you were doing.
I
before.
agree.
Yeah, I think that was the first time I really before that point, I think I was really just going with the flow. I was so young, I didn't know what I was doing. And I got thrown into show business just by chance. And just trying to figure out like I'm so famous in this country, and me personally, I didn't know why. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's not like I had been training to do acting and it was
Yeah.
like always my dream to do it. It was just like people want you to do this. So I was like, okay, I'll try it.
Yeah.
It was a lot of doing everything, you know, just going with the flow and giving people what they want. And then after a while, I kind of felt this like void. It really wasn't feeding my soul.
Yeah.
And eventually I just felt kind of empty. And I had really wanted to try music and make my own songs. So I went ahead and made that album. And if it was the creative outlet that I was really looking for. And it felt good. It felt me.
Yeah.
Out of everything I was doing. Of course, the acting, these are all characters, you know.
Yep.
And people love me for these characters that I play, but they're not necessarily me. Whereas music is very personal.
Yeah.
Like it's my words, it's my thoughts, it's my
Yeah.
feelings, and
Yeah.
even the sound is like how I hear my life right now. So
You're
it's,
the director. Of
yeah, it's very personal. So that was like the first time I really, I guess, truly expressed myself. In that crazy time.
Yeah. No, yeah, I think that, yeah, because like what Nico said a while ago with Palm Dreams, I think that's when we saw like a different side of you as well. Because like with people watching you on PBB, obviously, I mean, you would like sing every now and then, but like it wasn't something that you were known for, you know, like music for sure.
Yeah.
And then it just became something, yeah, like you said, you were kind of thrown into.
Yeah, I don't think people were ready to see like the boy next door on TV.
Exactly.
Sweetheart jump on like into the clubs.
Yeah.
Performing like hip hop
exactly.
R&B. I
But
think
I think the best thing about it was it made sense. As in,
Yeah,
when
for
it
you.
came out,
I
parang,
agree.
okay, gets that's what he's gonna do. That's what he's doing now.
Yeah.
It makes absolute
Yeah.
sense.
I'm glad some people saw it that way.
No, we saw it that way,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and which brings me to like, how did you make that transition from? Obviously, it's a scary thing, right? To come
Yeah.
from this certain image that people have of you because they watch you, and to like something a little bit more different from what they think, especially with this album. So how did you kind of like bridge those two together?
I think I was always itching to make that project, and I wasn't actually planning on releasing it. I was just making music for fun with my friend. And the first song I wrote was On Top. Yeah. And then originally I didn't even sing it. I asked Samm Concepcion, who's my super close friend,
Okay, so
and I told him to sing the song.
Oh wow!
And then we just made a whole bunch of tracks, and it was just for fun. And I loved it so much, I was like, wow, I think I really want to do this. It was the first time where I was like, this is what I want to do. It's not like, okay, I can do this. Sure, which one do you think I should do? And then
yeah.
go down that path. This one was like, this is what I want. And I think after I made that decision, it started making sense, the parts of my life that didn't fit in with how I saw myself or what I wanted to do with my life. So everything started changing, and very rapidly. Leaving my management, the love team ending, and me focusing on music and not acting. It was such a huge change. Like, you know, sometimes if you want to make a really big change, you really have to blow your life up. And it can be terrifying. It can be
It's a
terrifying.
demolition job to change your life.
Yeah.
It's a
No, I like
demolition
that. Yeah.
job,
I like that. It's a demolition job to change your life. That's true.
Yeah.
You really have to let go of a lot of things. Especially kung ganun kalaki yung change mo in terms of like direction.
And it was a big shift from what I was doing before to
Yeah.
what I'm doing now. But with this whole journey that I've been on, I kind of went extreme in the other direction
Yeah.
for the past few years.
From being an artista, you also became like
From
a
being
label head and
but an artista that was in a very mainstream setup,
Yeah.
working with majors, having all the support, but then having very little control. That's just how it works.
Yeah.
I left all that and I went to, I've got all the control,
Yeah.
but I have no support
Yeah.
and I have to eat all the risk.
Yep. That's
So I experienced like both ends of the spectrum.
Wow.
Yeah. It was tough. It was tough, like managing my own music label. Of course, I had help from my team.
And you're also taking risks for other artists now.
Yeah, taking
Yeah.
a lot of risks, like financial risks,
Yeah.
creative risks, and
Even, I think publicity-wise, you're taking the hits for everyone because you're
yes, that's
in
very
front of
true.
the whole thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it wasn't easy.
For sure.
But I've kind of entered a new phase, and I think I'm kind of finding the balance between both right now.
Ooh, yeah.
I recently started working with, collaborating with Sony,
Yeah.
and they're helping me with this project of mine. And I'm trying to bring together everything that I've learned from, the best of what I had before, when I was really working with majors and I was deep in show business, and also the best of being independent and being on the backside of everything, instead of in front of the camera, like behind the camera, behind the desk. Being on the side of I'm the artist signing with someone, and being on the side of I have an artist that I'm signing.
Yeah.
Trying to find out what's the balance. How do you keep it fair, but also at the same time help them get where they're trying to go, but without pushing them.
Yeah.
And Careless has kind of been like, the stomping grounds for a lot of these artists to just figure out who they want to be,
Yeah.
Yep.
make a whole bunch of music without being too pressured. Like it has to hit this amount of streams so that we can afford to blah, blah, blah. I always found ways outside of music to help, fund the whole thing. And now I'm kind of reaching this point where I'm getting the best of both worlds. Working with Sony, I think they've seen everything that Careless has done and what we're trying to do, and they support the vision.
Yeah.
And it's been great working with them, and they also give us room as Careless to also come in and take point on the creative at the same time, listening to their suggestions. So I feel like I finally found that balance, and it took me going from one end of the spectrum all the way to the other. And I'm in a good place, I think. That's
I
a
guess
long roundabout
I
way of
love
saying
that.
I'm in a good place right
Yeah.
now.
It's the fruit of him being able to show the world that you know what you're doing, you know what you want, compared to like before.
Or
Okay,
like-
I'm gonna say yes to that. I'm gonna say no to this. Now, they know, like there are bigger people who can support you because they know that if they give you their support, you know what to do with that support.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. There's a lot of trust
Yeah.
with Sony and Careless and everything. So
Yeah.
I'm really excited to release the rest of these songs, this EP. Yeah, so we just released Help Me Too,
Yeah.
and that was a big one. It was very emotional. And we have another single coming up next, and this one's in Tagalog.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's called Sandal, and this track is in Tagalog, and it's gonna be followed up by a few more singles before the EP releases. Yeah,
It's a waterfall release.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, that's so exciting though. I mean, just hearing everything, I felt so proud of you for some reason. Like, it's just so crazy,
Thank
like,
you.
to hear. Because we've seen you, obviously, like, for, literally the entirety of your career up to this
Yeah,
point.
we've watched it from like far, far away.
Yeah, and to
Yeah,
be
exactly.
somebody in the audience, obviously we don't know what you're thinking, what you go through personally, right? We can only make assumptions, or we
Yeah.
can only think
Yeah.
certain things.
Yeah.
And to hear you talk about these things, like, obviously upheaving like your whole, basically what you were taught to believe about a certain way of life, right? And then kind of like going not against, but like just against the grain, I guess, from the traditional
It
path.
definitely felt like that.
Yeah.
It felt like I was going against like a current almost. So yeah.
And you came out on the other side.
Yes.
Thank you.
Now you're floating.
I survived.
Right?
Yes,
survived.
yes, you did. And I guess that goes back to the kind of sense of self, the things that you wanted to do, which is obviously a message to everybody. Like, it's not always easy to push for the things that you want.
I think it's not
Obviously.
supposed to be easy. 'Cause
Yeah.
if it was easy, then it wouldn't be worth it.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
The fact that it's so challenging and you're still willing to do it means that it's super important to you.
Yeah.
And that it's something worth, struggling for.
Yeah.
And I think it's been very worth it. But yeah, it's funny that you were saying that like people don't really see that side.
Yeah.
And I'm not the type of person where I feel like I need to constantly explain myself and justify what I'm doing and everything. Especially going through the whole show business thing. I tried once explaining myself and people still take it the wrong way. So I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna I'm on my own path and it takes time. Even if you see what's happening and you think, oh, this has gone wrong or this is bad for your career, go back to acting.
Yeah.
And I know that my journey is still going to take time to get where I'm going. So I just learned to just stick to my plans, stick to my vision, and to just block out all the noise.
But in any along the way, did you ever think to go back to where everything was? Since for sure there were times that it was such a struggle for you guys to sustain everything that you were doing or you were planning to do. Was there a time that you wanted to oh, maybe I should just go back to the easy thing?
Actually, when I stopped acting, people kept asking me, "Are you gonna quit acting for good?"
Yeah.
I kept saying no. That I plan to go back to it. It's just I'm doing music right now, and people might not understand, but for me, it's been this process of self-discovery and finding out who I am. For the longest time, I was just one half of a pair. So I wanted to know who I was outside of that.
For sure.
And sorry, what was the question again?
Did you ever think to go
Oh,
back
to go back,
it?
yeah, to go back to it. So I never said that I quit acting for good. I was planning on going back. But I wanted to go back to it on my own terms.
Yeah.
When I had figured out what about it wasn't for me, and what it is that I really wanted to do. Because back then I had no idea what I wanted. So yeah, I plan to go back to acting for sure. There's actually a project that that I have in the works, a film that I want to produce, to co-produce. Which I would be starring in as well. So hopefully I can start shooting this year. It's still very early stages.
Yeah.
Either this end of this year or next year.
Oh my God. So excited.
Do you have a cast in mind already?
Yeah, I do have a few people in mind.
Okay.
Also because I'll be producing the soundtrack to the film.
Oh, wow.
I've been talking to quite a few people about collaborating on this soundtrack because the movie has something to do with music.
Okay.
Hope that's not giving too much, but it has something to do with music, and that's why I wanted to also produce the soundtrack with different artists, different producers, local. Yeah. So also, if you're interested,
Yes. I am very interested.
Yeah.
I love that. No, but
Okay,
that's
Metro Boomin.
but that's so cool. How these things you didn't exactly picture yourself doing, but now you're kind of doing not everything, but you kind of are putting the things that you want to do together on your own terms too. I think that's so cool, and not everybody gets to experience. And I'm happy that you get to experience it because you're so brave in expressing what you want. And at first people didn't get it, you know what I mean? And now it makes a lot of sense for everybody.
Some people, I hope so. But I know there's still some people that don't
Get it?
get it.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I don't need everyone to understand it, but that's really part of it. As I made the shifts, of course, it was difficult for some people to follow where I was going. which was also very tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not just talking about like fans. I'm
Yeah.
talking about like friends and
Yeah.
people I've worked with. As you make that shift, your vision just doesn't align anymore as what
Yeah.
it used to be. So, yeah, a lot of heartbreak there,
Yeah.
which was also part of the inspiration for Help Me Too.
Yeah, actually, I was gonna ask. Since right when you started, you said you weren't really sure like this was something you wanted to do, or like there were things you weren't sure about doing, like acting in the first place, or like even music.
Yeah.
And now you kind of know that these are things that you want to do. Is that something you think reflects now in the music that you make?
Yes, definitely. I've been experimenting a lot, especially when I went to LA. I tried so many different genres: electronic, funk, disco, R&B, pop, just synthwave, just a whole bunch of retro pop. I tried a whole bunch of different things, and with this EP, I really just wanted to get back to the roots. Really take away all the the flashy lights and the flashy production and everything, and just focus on really what is me, and to give at least my listeners, my fans who have been supporting me all this time, one window where they can actually see me for who I am, where I can be totally real in the music, and it's not on a big screen. It's not heavily produced. It's not, what do you call it? Someone else's story. It's just mine. Yeah.
And I think in a different light, it's also so nice that you got to work in the US with like the biggest producers in the world. But also when you came back and wanted to do the EP, you chose to work with like local artists, local producers, local songwriters.
Yeah, for everything, for to help with the songwriting, especially the Tagalog ones, to help with the production, the mixing, mastering, everything local. I tried pushing, trying to find that balance of pushing international and also being local.
That's true.
It's tough.
Sometimes you get
I
lost
can
'cause,
imagine.
sometimes you get lost in like finding the international sound. That you don't sound relatable not to your own country.
Yeah. So actually, this topic we could do a whole podcast on.
Yes.
This specific topic, I'm sure, like as a musician,
Yeah.
This topic comes up a lot.
Yep.
There's a very specific OPM sound. Actually, a lot of people are like scared to talk about this.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to sound, that you're that you're dissing on your own country, your own sound.
Yeah.
But that's not it at all. Like, I always believed when I first started making music that our goal should be, as a country, as Filipinos, to want to get our music out there.
Yeah, for
Yep.
sure. Yeah.
So, like any other country, they adapt to the global sound.
Yeah.
But then locally, there's always that struggle. How
I
to stay
think-
relatable, how to stay.
I think we feel like there should only be one sound that goes international for like the scene in general. But we focus on one certain sound to like push that for international. But in reality, we can like do anything that's Filipino made is OPM. So
I
whatever
agree.
sound we do, if it goes international, it's a win for the whole OPM industry. So sometimes we get too
So-
fixated with one certain genre
Yeah.
or two certain genres.
As somebody looking from the outside looking in, what is holding it back then?
From being in this industry for
Yeah.
so long and trying both hyper local projects and really pushing it international. Like, take for example, Jacuzzi. That was
Yeah.
completely unrelatable for the Filipino audience, if I'm gonna be real.
Yeah.
But having seen the whole thing, I think I made the mistake of thinking that I could change it right now.
Oh.
That I could make a song that would suddenly make it all just change immediately. But after just experiencing where the industry was even 5 years ago and to where it is now, I realized all it took was just time.
Yeah.
It's just going to take time for people to try and fail, but then we move a bit closer, and then people will try and they'll fail, but then we get a bit closer
Yeah.
each time. Like the sound of OPM right now has evolved so much
So much.
from
Yeah, I
what
agree.
it was, even 3-4 years ago.
Yeah, I agree.
So I think it's just time. As long as people keep trying, they will fail.
Yeah.
But then eventually we will succeed.
It'll get there.
Yeah, it'll get there. I
mean,
think.
to collectively
That's true.
make it a big like movement for the whole scene. I guess the key lang talaga is for the artists to involve themselves into the scene. Na parang some artists tend to isolate themselves from the whole scene. So when everyone's like parang ngayon, the scene is so healthy na everyone's friends. Like you get to work with people that are far from the sound that you really do.
Yeah.
We get to gig with people with bands that different from what we do or artists from what we do. Parang now it's becoming like a collective effort for everyone to like push for international. Like Beanie's going up
Yeah.
with a certain sound. Maki's going up with another different sound. Zach Tabudlo's doing this stuff with another
That's true,
different
though.
sound. So,
Yeah, it's one thing I noticed is that local acts aren't afraid to try and push international anymore.
Yeah.
Whereas when I had started, it was something people are afraid to do because you didn't want to go out, fail, and then come back.
yeah,
That
because it
was the
feels
biggest
like
fear.
you're coming back lang just because you didn't succeed
You know,
internationally.
like you had failed and you've come
Yeah,
home with your
yeah,
tail
yeah,
between your
yeah,
legs.
yeah.
You
Do
know
you
what
think
I mean?
it's a budget issue or a platform issue? Because I
No,
feel
I
like
think
now
it's
it's
just
because
we-
of TikTok. That's why everyone's so brave to go international.
Yeah, and I think it's also owed to all the artists who have been trying to push international. You know, outside of myself, like Zach and Ben, and then even before them, there's been a lot of artists who've been pushing to go international, make collaborations. Even if they're not successful, at least we tried.
Yeah.
And then
It's one step closer.
yeah, and people back home, you know, artists back here, they'll see that and they go, oh, it's possible. Someone can do it, even if it wasn't a huge success.
Yeah.
It's still possible, which we didn't think was possible before.
Ah.
So I think it's gonna take time.
Yeah.
And we're currently going there, so I'm not even worried about it.
Yeah.
I feel like it's
Yeah,
going to
I
happen.
think it hand in hand with that, like artists not being scared to push internationally, like the sound. I mean, I think audiences, as an audience of music, I feel like the taste of music is also developing. Like people are more open these days to certain kinds of music, like compared to before. I feel like since a lot of artists are trying out new things, people are also kind of not forced, but they're more exposed to different kinds of music that they've become more open to these things. I think with the resurgence of hip hop, like in the Philippines too, because
Super.
it was so different before, like 3-4 years ago, and to see it now, I think people are more open to listen to different kinds of hip hop too. And I think that's a reflection of how it's hand in hand, right? Like it's artists pushing, but also the listeners pushing for different and being more open. So I think it's a collective effort, right? Like for everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, imagine the day. That would be so crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that is the goal, I guess, for everybody. And we're happy that you're also still, you're kind of finding the balance too with everybody. Because obviously, a lot of people love the old stuff. A lot of people also love the new stuff. So let's talk about the new stuff too. I feel like we would love to know more where your head's at now with music. Obviously, with Hurt Me Too, very vulnerable.
Yeah, actually,
Very,
bare.
very, very bare.
that song kind of I had like a shift in the way I started writing music because of that song. And I think before, being under the pressure of show business and media and everything, I wanted to, and so much of my life was just out on display for everybody. I think unintentionally I tried to stay away from anything that I was actually feeling. And then a lot of my music turned to like escapism. Just like focusing on feeling good, getting away. That was what I was writing about. And when I had went to LA, I think that was 2022. Yeah. I went to LA and started working with these different LA producers, and they were like, so what do you want to write about? And I was like, I think we can just play the music and vibe it out and see where it goes. And then he told me, he listened to some of my music and he was like, do you have any like sad songs? I said, no, I don't. He's like, why? And I was like, I just don't like writing sad songs. And he's like, that's what we're writing today. And I was like, oh God. So we ended up talking for like 3 hours. Yeah, 3 hours. We didn't make any music. for 3 hours, just talking about past relationships, friendships that, you know, you split up and you went totally different directions.
So sad.
And till now, you still don't understand each other.
Yeah.
We talked about everything, a lot of stuff, and we kind of got to one main theme, which was, you know, sometimes you try your best, and so do they, but then it just doesn't work out. And there's nothing you can do about that. There's no, I'm right and you're wrong. There's no, it's my fault, not yours. It's just like, I get it, and I know it sucks for you because it also sucks for me.
Yeah.
And that's where, you know, we started with the song. After that, I think I became a lot more open after I'd come back from LA to diving into these things. And then helped me to kind of set the tone for the rest of the songs I wanted to write. So it's been great that I was able to turn such a painful experience into kind of like a beautiful understanding. And I tried to do that with a lot of the other songs. Like with Sandal, it was, you know, someone who's been going through a really, really hard time and how that can affect you. Especially when they push you away because they don't want to make it worse. But then for me, it was just like, you can come in and you can lean on me. Just turning really, and it turned out to be such a beautiful song. And yeah, it was being able to turn your painful experiences into like healing experiences or like wisdom or something that you can really learn from. And I've started to fall in love with that process. You know, even if I'm just taking a part of my career, which I was like, man, that was so messed up. And then being able to turn that into something else.
Yeah.
Kind of transmuting negative emotions into positive emotions instead of just kind of running away from it.
Yeah, so the EP is sort of like becoming a journal now for like the past experiences you haven't really talked about in music.
Yeah. I think
Wow.
when people listen to it, they'll be like, okay, wow, we didn't know this about James.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not all of it's heavy. A lot of it is like, yeah, a lot of it.
Oh,
some,
yeah.
Some of it's fun. Some of it's like cheeky. And some of it's like, it's just good energy.
Yeah.
Like the one we worked on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the EP, I guess what I love about it the most is that it's bridging the sound from like the previous,
Yeah.
like the really old ones, and
Yes.
the recent English songs. So super, it's giving me that relatable feeling, but also it sounds exactly how it sounds like you want it to sound like that. And it's not like just something that's given to you.
Yeah, it feels like I'm putting together the best of my past self and everything I've been doing more recently to try and create, you know, something that is just very authentically me.
Yeah.
Without trying so hard.
No, yeah, I feel like, because you mentioned a while ago, you're kind of in a really good place, like in terms of the things you're creating. And I think that really reflects also in the music. Even like Hurt Me Too, even though it's a little bit like vulnerable, a little bit sad, it reflects a good place for you, like being able to talk about these things. Because obviously it's not easy. I mean...
Yeah, I wasn't coming from a place of sympathy.
Yeah.
I wasn't really asking for sympathy in the song. It was really, I was coming from a place of empathy.
Yeah.
Like, I understand, and I've gone through, you know, my own experience, different from yours, but I understand.
For sure.
So it was more empathy than sympathy.
Yeah, I mean, and that's something that takes time. Like, that's not something that you just feel right away, right?
I think if you ask most writers, they will say like, yeah, that's why I take my most painful stuff and then I write about it.
Yeah.
And blah, blah, blah. So it's not anything new that I'm talking about. It's just for me, I came from a totally different journey. You know, most people get to start, you know, alone in their room, writing about things they don't think anyone's ever going to hear. And then you wrote something really personal, and then other people go, wow, I love this. I can connect to it. And then from there, you grow and people hear your music, and then eventually get invited to perform from a small audience, which grows and grows and grows.
Yeah.
And then you're performing in front of 100,000 people. I was backwards.
Yeah, for sure.
I came out
For
of
sure.
the Big Brother house and immediately put on stage in front of 100,000 people. And I was like, what am I supposed to do? I said, sing.
Yeah.
So I sang like a cover. And I didn't know music wasn't my passion. Yet I was already at the end game for a lot of musicians, like where they want to
so
get.
true.
That is so true.
So for me, my whole journey with music has been like, I already had too many people looking at me and
watching
listening
you.
to me and watching at my every step. It was difficult for me to start with the most raw emotions. So I had to work my way
Wild.
this way, and I feel like I've gone completely backwards. So crazy.
That is crazy. Just
Yeah.
hearing about like.
But I guess it's also good that you've already established like you having like people who want to listen to you, but also parang for the longest time you have people who want to listen to what you want to say, but there's also you who's not ready to say what you want to say.
Yeah.
So now that you're ready, at least there's already a platform waiting for you,
Yeah.
and like people waiting for you to talk about it.
Yeah, that's very true actually. I don't think I was ready to talk about any of this stuff then. But definitely now.
Yeah.
That's where this is like kind of all been heading, and it's been great. It's like, you know, weight off my shoulders, and
Yeah, for sure.
it just it's like one of those things and one of those projects where just everything starts to make sense.
Yeah. It's kind of like an eclipse. You know, it takes time for everything to align. And
Yeah.
then it's a special moment when
Yeah.
it does align.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
But
Whoa.
it stays there, we hope.
Yeah, yeah,
We
yeah.
don't want
For
it to
sure. We
go
don't want it to
away
go
right
again.
away.
But it happens,
We just,
you know.
yeah. Then the clips will pass, and then I'm gonna go through more, and it's gonna line again and be like,
But such is life, you
Yeah.
know. Sometimes it's like
is
that.
life.
Reverse.
No, yeah, but it's actually a really interesting journey, I would say, because
Yeah.
I mean, indie artists think it's tough, and they get a lot of hate when they transition from indie into
To
mainstream.
yeah,
That's true.
Not many people know the other way around.
Yeah.
Going from mainstream, trying to go into really focus on just being an independent artist and
Yeah.
not making music just to appease the masses.
yeah,
I'm telling you, it's just as hard
yeah, for
as,
sure.
as you can imagine,
Yeah.
but also with less people to relate to.
And there's also more people watching. There's also more people to dislike what you're doing. If
A lot
there's-
more.
Yeah, a lot more for
That's the
sure.
thing.
Wow.
Diba?
It's like I just realized that now, just like
Yeah.
hearing it. And I can imagine for you when you were going through it, it was just like a kind of like an isolating experience too. Cause like,
Definitely.
yeah, like a lot of people can't relate to what you went through. Only you can like feel and experience what you're experiencing. So
Yeah,
like,
it's also difficult for me to write about.
yeah.
So which is why I never did. But then I can't talk about this one too much
Yeah.
Okay.
because I'm not sure if it's going to be on the EP. But then you heard one of the songs I wrote where it was about, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
me as an artista.
Oh.
That's like the most unrelatable thing to write about. But
Yeah.
then I did like manage to write it in a way where it was like super honest. And because it
Yeah.
was honest, people can still relate to it. So I'm even trying to find ways to talk about those things that I feel like are unrelatable.
Yeah.
Because like on the human level, somehow it will be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think so. Yeah, I definitely agree. Like,
I mean, kasi the song's super specific. Like it's really specific to what he was going through.
Like no one else can sing the song. But
No one
Yeah.
else can sing the song but him.
interesting.
But I guess as a listener, you'd get to relate to it in terms of like, oh, I understand how you feel, but I know I'm never gonna feel that. But hearing the song, like, okay, I get it now. It's more of like that. It's more
Yeah.
like, okay, I get it now.
Yeah.
Ah, oh my God. Okay.
It's good.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
It's fun.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
It's like,
You're just thinking, you can hear it in your head, right?
oh my God. No, that's so funny. I'm excited.
I have the whole drive.
So hopefully,
like
hopefully.
I'm visualizing the whole drive in my head now.
No.
All of the titles.
the
yeah.
titles.
That's so funny. But it's cool that you're in a place where you can talk about something
I'll
like
play
that.
for you after.
Okay.
Yeah. When the
Perfect.
cameras and the microphones
Yes.
are
No,
Yes.
but that's cool that now you're in a place. What is it? What's the word? Statute of limitations. Like you're kind of just like,
I know what you're talking
yeah, like it
The
takes.
what, sorry?
I forgot if that's the word. Statute of limitations. It's kind of like a thing where you something happens, then you let time pass, and then you reach a time where you can actually talk about it already.
Yeah.
And it's kind of what you're going through too now. Like, it's interesting and exciting to see also because obviously we've been excited for you to put out stuff, especially like this. Like
We've
it's
been waiting.
yeah, we've all been anticipating, and it's
Sorry it took me so long.
no.
I was going
At
through
least
some shit.
yeah, at least you got there.
A lot of
That's
shit.
the important thing. So what do you think after creating this EP or in the, making the music now very honest, things that you didn't think you could talk about before you're actually talking about? What do you think James at the height of everything would say when he hears this album?
You mean back then?
Yeah, back
Oh,
then.
that's a
The
great
James from that time when he was feeling all of the emotions, all of those things.
I would think that me back then
Mm-hmm.
would think that I'm a lot braver now. Yeah. To be able to do these things and have a lot more self-confidence, and that James back then was a totally different person.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think he would think I'm a lot braver now to really pursue the things that I want to without caring so much about what everyone thinks, without the idea that I need to be perfect all the time. I think he would be relieved. Yeah. He would be relieved. Yeah.
Kind of just want to hug James from before.
The one from before, yeah.
Yeah.
I've had like moments where I had to really, go back and give myself a hug and be like, it's okay. We had to go through that. We had to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but way better now. Like everything's falling right.
Yeah, I mean, to have these experiences.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where, this whole EP goes. And I already have enough songs for another one afterwards already. But I'm still going. I'm still making more with this new kind of perspective
And process.
yeah, and this new process. It's been fun, and I can't wait to see how this kind of unfolds.
I'm so happy. What a journey. It feels like you could like make a movie out of it. Like,
This feels so weird. for me, 'cause I
I've
literally
only told you
watched
like maybe like
everything.
5% of
yeah,
everything.
exactly.
If I told you some of
Imagine.
the other stuff that I've been doing with, I
Imagine.
could definitely make a movie out of it.
Imagine.
A series,
Yeah,
probably.
like a limited series.
Yeah.
No, yeah, because like what Nico was saying, we've seen you. I mean, obviously, since you literally started
Yeah.
this career, which you were so young then, and to
Yeah.
have that person experience all of those things.
Like,
How old were you?
Can I
then?
just say, there was a phase in my life. Now, the haircuts I was getting was based off of his picture.
No way.
What
'Cause there was,
picture?
like,
What
there-
hair?
There was this time that all of like the barbershops had this
Don't
picture
tell me
there.
it was the one where it was like the spiky back and then the long front.
Wow.
I think so, yeah.
Hot.
Was it?
But that's not the one I got. There was this time na it's a shorter version of that.
Okay.
This was around 2016, 2017.
Yeah.
So
It was really spiky everywhere.
Uh-huh.
Oh my
Okay.
goodness.
Yeah, I know exactly which one you're talking about.
it's everywhere, right?
That's how you
It's
know you
everywhere.
made it
Yeah.
when you're in the barber shop.
Yeah.
Like your hair is.
No, I've had
Next
so
to
many
Zayn
people.
Malik. Next to Zayn Malik
Yeah.
with the undercut.
That's so funny. Oh my god, yeah, that's so funny. But how old were you when you started? Like when you joined BBB?
I turned 17 when I was inside the house.
Imagine
Yeah.
like a 17-year-old, like when you were 17, right? Can you imagine like all of these things happening to you? I couldn't. So
Yeah.
go James.
It was instant fame for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like I stepped into a house that
Yeah.
transported me into a different dimension where
Mhm.
everyone knew my name.
Yeah.
It was like that. Because when I
Yeah.
came going to the house, it was just like, people look at me, but then they don't care.
Yeah, yeah.
When I came out of the house,
It's like they're looking at you.
yeah, I became a magnet for photos.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
So imagine, right? Like you just have to be kinder because like so young at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I didn't really know what I wanted
Yeah.
to do.
Very understandable.
Very understandable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it built you to be
Yeah.
like this. to
Yeah,
be
I
where
would,
you are
the
now.
last thing I would ever imagine I was going to do was be famous and be in movies
Yeah.
and make albums and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, going into all of it, I was like, this is absolutely nuts. I never thought I was going to do any of this stuff.
Yeah.
As soon as I came out, the first thing I did was I performed on ASAP.
Wow.
And they're like, you have to do these dance steps and you have to lip sync. And I was standing at the very front, so I had no one to like watch and copy.
Yeah.
And then I made a mistake and I forgot the dance steps and everything. And then my ears turned red, my mouth went dry, and then I was just like, I had like the worst stage fright because there was no warm up. They just like threw me in the deep end, and I just had to learn how to swim. So yeah, I never imagined, that this would be the path I was going to go down.
Oh my goodness. But in another life, somewhere out there in the parallel universe.
Yeah, in the multiverse, somewhere
yes.
there's James, who's
Chef James.
Yeah.
Maybe he still has the @James.
With a Michelin star.
Yeah, you never know, right?
And he just sings to himself while he's cooking.
Yeah, hey, that's so funny. But I'm happy in this universe we get to experience James like the artist too. So we're so excited for everything. I'm sure you have so many things planned. Just hearing you talk about all of these things now, and I feel like we could talk about so many things
In another episode.
In another
I feel like
episode.
We need another episode.
Yeah,
we probably need to if you want to tackle everything else.
Yes, right. And we're excited for everything you have planned in terms of music, acting also in the future. But before we let you go, do you have a message to everybody who's listening, who have been big fans of you ever since, and just people who are maybe also even discovering you for the first time like recently, and you never know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, first I want to thank you guys for having me on the show. I think this is the most chill, fun podcast I've done so far. So yeah, excited to come back.
Yes.
Yeah. And then to everyone else, please stay tuned for all the music that's coming out. I think this is some of the best work I've ever done. So I'm really excited, and I hope you guys enjoy.
We will.
We will enjoy.
Like everything else you've done, we will enjoy.
Yes.
Yeah, but we enjoyed this conversation. I mean, we're happy that you were able to join us. I mean, to be completely honest, it's not that I was scared, but it was more of like, I wasn't sure what you would want to talk about, given like everything, obviously. But I'm happy that you're able to like.
Yeah, no.
Share. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, this was chill.
I love that. Oh, I'm gonna cry. I'm just kidding. No, but thank you so much, James, for joining us. And yeah, thank you to everybody who's listening. I mean, if you're going through stuff in your life and you're also questioning, because some people like will only realize what they want, like, and they'll feel like they're too old to change.
Don't be afraid to do that 180.
Yes.
Yeah, don't be afraid to do that 180 just to, blow everything up and start over. Sometimes it's really what you need.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. So you got this. Yes. But thanks,
Yes.
everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.